The 20th century unveiled humanity's ability to harness the atom's power. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in 1945 served as a stark warning to the world. The development of nuclear weapons marked a turning point in human history. This period underscored the fragility of peace and the urgent need for nuclear disarmament. The memory of Hiroshima and Nagasaki serves as a solemn reminder of the destructive power we hold. In the blink of an eye, a nuclear detonation unleashes a force unlike any other. The immediate blast effects are catastrophic, vaporizing structures and people at the epicenter. The intense heat, reaching millions of degrees Celsius, incinerates everything in its path. Buildings crumble, trees vanish, and the ground itself melts into glass. Those unfortunate souls caught within the immediate blast radius stand no chance of survival. Their bodies are instantly vaporized by the extreme temperatures. The immense pressure generated by the explosion crushes anything in its wake. Concrete structures, once symbols of human ingenuity, are reduced to dust. The air itself becomes superheated, forming a rapidly expanding fireball. This searing sphere of plasma engulfs everything in its vicinity, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. The initial blast wave travels faster than the speed of sound, flattening everything in its path. The sheer power of the detonation creates a zone of complete destruction. Within this radius, life as we know it ceases to exist. The landscape is forever scarred, a chilling testament to the destructive power of nuclear weapons. The defining characteristic of a nuclear explosion is the blinding flash of light and the subsequent formation of a massive fireball. This superheated sphere of plasma can reach temperatures hotter than the sun's core, instantly setting everything within its reach ablaze. The fireball's intense thermal radiation spreads outwards at the speed of light, igniting fires for kilometers around. These fires quickly merge into massive firestorms, fueled by the debris and oxygen-depleted air. The firestorms rage out of control, consuming everything in their path and creating their own powerful winds that further fan the flames. The intense heat from the fireball can cause third-degree burns on exposed skin several kilometers away. Even those who find shelter from the blast and shockwave are not safe from the fireball's wrath. The heat can penetrate windows and ignite flammable materials inside buildings. The radiant heat can melt metal, fuse sand into glass, and incinerate anything combustible. The devastating reach of the fireball underscores the indiscriminate nature of nuclear weapons. Their effects extend far beyond any military target, inflicting unimaginable suffering on civilians and transforming urban landscapes into infernos. Following the initial blast and fireball, a powerful shockwave radiates outwards, traveling at supersonic speeds. This wall of highly compressed air flattens buildings, uproots trees, and tosses vehicles like toys. The shockwave's force can rupture organs, collapse lungs, and cause massive internal injuries. But the invisible threat of radiation is perhaps even more insidious. The detonation releases a lethal cocktail of alpha, beta, and gamma radiation, invisible and silent killers that can penetrate deep within the body. Exposure to high levels of radiation can cause immediate sickness, leading to vomiting, diarrhea, and hair loss. Long-term exposure can result in cancer, genetic mutations, and birth defects. The radioactive fallout can contaminate water supplies, food crops, and the very air we breathe, poisoning the environment for years to come. The invisible and long-lasting effects of radiation make nuclear weapons a threat that extends far beyond the initial blast. The combination of the shockwave's brute force and the insidious nature of radiation creates a double threat. Survivors of the initial blast may face a slow and agonizing death from radiation sickness. The environment itself becomes a silent killer, harboring invisible dangers for years to come. Section 5. The Unseen Toll: Radiation's Silent Poison. The true horror of a nuclear attack unfolds in the days, weeks, and years following the initial blast. Radiation poisoning, a silent killer, takes hold of its victims, wreaking havoc on their bodies at a cellular level. Radiation sickness manifests in various ways, depending on the dose and duration of exposure. Some individuals may experience mild symptoms like nausea and fatigue. Others might suffer from severe burns, internal bleeding, and organ failure. Radiation disrupts the body's ability to repair itself, leading to a slow and agonizing decline. One of the most insidious aspects of radiation is its ability to damage DNA, the blueprint of life. This damage can lead to mutations that increase the risk of cancer, birth defects, and other genetic disorders. Children born to survivors of nuclear attacks may inherit these genetic defects, carrying the burden of the attack for generations. The long-term health consequences of radiation exposure are a stark reminder of the indiscriminate and enduring impact of nuclear weapons. The suffering inflicted by radiation poisoning extends far beyond the initial victims, casting a long shadow over future generations. The chilling reality of nuclear winter. A nuclear war could trigger a catastrophic environmental catastrophe known as nuclear winter. Millions of tons of soot and debris would block sunlight, causing a dramatic drop in global temperatures. The resulting nuclear winter would plunge the planet into darkness and cold. Average temperatures could plummet, leading to crop failures, mass starvation, and societal collapse. The entire planet would suffer, with potentially irreversible consequences for all life on Earth. Section 7. Crumbling foundations, economic and societal collapse. The detonation of a nuclear weapon in a densely populated area would instantly cripple the local economy and infrastructure. Businesses would be destroyed, transportation networks obliterated, and communication systems rendered useless. The sudden loss of life and the displacement of survivors would create chaos and overwhelm emergency services. The economic impacts would ripple outwards, affecting global trade, financial markets, and supply chains. The psychological toll on survivors would be immeasurable, leading to widespread post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression. The loss of loved ones, homes, and livelihoods would leave lasting scars on the social fabric of affected communities. The breakdown of law and order, coupled with the scarcity of resources, could lead to social unrest, violence, and mass migrations. The fabric of civilization, painstakingly woven over centuries, could unravel in the aftermath of a nuclear attack. The societal costs of a nuclear attack would be immeasurable, far exceeding the immediate physical damage. The erosion of trust, the breakdown of social norms, and the loss of hope would leave lasting scars on humanity's collective psyche. Section 8. Scars on time. The environment's long recovery. The environment would bear the brunt of a nuclear attack for generations. Radioactive fallout would contaminate soil, water sources, and the food chain, making vast areas uninhabitable for decades. The long-term effects of radiation could lead to mutations in plant and animal life, disrupting ecosystems and potentially leading to the extinction of species. The destruction of forests and vegetation would release massive amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, further contributing to climate change. The long-term environmental consequences of a nuclear attack would be devastating, potentially altering the course of evolution and leaving a lasting legacy of destruction. Even if humanity managed to avoid extinction, the world after a nuclear war would be a vastly different place. The delicate balance of nature would be irrevocably disrupted, and the planet's ability to support life would be severely compromised. The environmental scars of a nuclear attack would serve as a constant reminder of the devastating consequences of our actions. The recovery process, if at all possible, would take centuries, if not millennia. The planet's resilience would be put to the ultimate test, and the future of life on Earth would hang in the balance. Section 9. A world on edge, international outrage, and the shadow of war. The use of a nuclear weapon would be met with universal condemnation. It would be deemed a crime against humanity, triggering global outcry. Severe sanctions would isolate the aggressor nation economically and politically. The specter of nuclear retaliation would push the world closer to war. The delicate balance of power would be shattered, replaced by fear and mistrust. One nuclear weapon could spiral into global conflict, risking millions of lives. The threat of nuclear war remains a clear and present danger. The international community must work together to prevent nuclear proliferation. The future of humanity depends on finding peaceful solutions and embracing diplomacy. Section 10. The only path forward. A call for peace and disarmament. The only way to ensure that the horrors of a nuclear attack never again visit humanity is through a global commitment to peace and disarmament. Nations must abandon the pursuit of nuclear weapons and work together to dismantle existing arsenals. International treaties and agreements are crucial to establishing a framework for nuclear non-proliferation and disarmament. Education plays a vital role in fostering a culture of peace. By teaching future generations about the devastating consequences of nuclear war, we can nurture an understanding of our shared humanity and the importance of diplomacy. Investing in diplomacy, conflict resolution, and international cooperation is essential to addressing the root causes of conflict and preventing future wars. The threat of nuclear war is a global problem that demands a global solution. It is a threat to our collective survival, and it requires a collective commitment to peace to avert disaster. By choosing dialogue over violence, cooperation over confrontation, and disarmament over destruction, we can create a world where the horrors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki are never repeated. The choice is clear. We must choose peace over annihilation. The future of our planet, and indeed our very existence, depends on it.